Makeathon 2022. We're so glad that all of you are joining live right now for the opening ceremony. And we are also thankful for your participation during the deep dive days. So first, today I will be starting off with an introduction. What is the opening ceremony about? Give you some details about the support we provide you during the Makeathon and we have provided you before. And afterwards, we will also be talking about how can you do the submissions at the end of the making phase, what are the prizes that are awaiting you, a reminder of what great challenge setters and partners we have lined up for you. And now, to get us started, I would like to hear some feedback from you. We already had nearly 2 weeks of an action-packed program. So we would like you to take 1-2 minutes to scan the code here, the QR code, or just go on the website of Mentimeter and use the code 58296201 and answer the question, what did you like about the first 2 weeks of the Makeathon? So I'm hoping every one of you is getting active and going on the link. Until then, I'm going to share some feedback from the TUM.ai internal team. And here, a lot of people enjoyed the talk by Sebastian Schaal from Luminovo that was about AI for beginners. Because there are a lot of people with a business background here that are just getting started in AI. And here it was a talk where they could really get an overview over the whole ecosystem, concisely explained what is good for what use case, how can I get started somewhere. But yeah, let me check in on what you have been sharing. Let's refresh. Okay, so far you have been really liking the networking, the experts, learning and interacting, and which we could probably have guessed after we saw such a huge participation in yesterday's partners launch, where every one of you was able to interact with the TUM.ai team, but also with our premium sponsors and challenge setters and get some personal questions answered. And also with interaction, please feel always free to go into our Slack channel, ask us any questions during a presentation so that they can be answered, or if you have any trouble accessing our streams on YouTube or otherwhere. Then now we're going to go over the Makeathon concept again. So as you have seen, the first week this year was the education days. Here we wanted to do something different than the last times we organized the Makeathon, because we heard the feedback from the more technically inclined people that, oh, I wish I would have known a bit more about business. How can I turn my AI solution into a feasible business? And we also heard from more business inclined people, hey, I'm great at business, but I have no idea about AI. Is there like an interactive workshop that can get me started in a few hours so I can really help and participate during the making phase of the Makeathon? And that's why we created the education days for this year. And I hope all of you enjoyed it and were able to get those skills that you might have been lacking or just accelerate your learning process. And then this week, we had the pleasure to have some expert talks from our partners, where for 1 hour, we really got into the detail of one topic. And then for 10 minutes, you had the chance to ask questions and get them answered. And we're really thankful for your participation there. We got so many questions that we really never had any silence. And it was more that we had to break off the Q&A section. And sadly, not all of them could get answered. But that's a good problem to have. And now, starting today, after the opening ceremony at 11, we will be starting officially with the making phase for the Makeathon. And then on Sunday at 11 a.m., the making phase stops, and it's the deadline for the submissions. And afterwards, from 12 until 4 p.m., there will be track jury that will be evaluating in the medtech, in the education, and in the environment track. And then the best teams from these tracks will get into the final jury. And then from 6 to 9, there will be the finals and the closing ceremony afterwards. And yeah, just to recap, we have these 3 tracks: education, healthcare, environment. And as you know, you could choose a company challenge and participate in something already predefined, or create your individual challenge. What we have seen so far is that most of you decided to go with a company challenge, and we're really happy that you like the challenges we were able to come up with our partners, as they really tackle some real life business cases. And also very interesting, for the making phase, we already had some questions from the Slack asking, okay, pitching is very important. How can I pitch my idea during the Makeathon? And this year, again, we will have a pitch training, and it's more individual. So it will not be a 1-hour seminar or something where we tell you how you should pitch, but instead, you should use Slack with the Zero general channel and just reach out to us and make an appointment on a Saturday to receive a personal pitch training where you will be presenting your pitch first, and then you will get feedback, individual feedback on your performance, what you should tune, where your strengths are. And yeah, looking forward to helping you out there. And it has been great how active everyone has been on Slack. So far, we had over 8,000 messages. A lot of channels for information and help exist there, and they're also being used by you. And during the Makeathon, during the making phase, there will also be some experts available for you to reach out on Slack. If you have any questions in areas like NLP, explainable, or other topics, there will be experts specifically for you to reach out and get your questions answered in the areas of AI, business, and idea. So please never hesitate to contact us. Every question is valid. And now about the submissions, maybe even the most important part of the event. Please do not forget that the deadline is on Sunday at 11 a.m. This is a hard deadline, so please make sure to upload it a bit earlier. You will be uploading a few different parts. You will be uploading your slide deck that will be used for the presentation via Google Drive link that we provide to you. And what's also important for us is that we see that your solution is functioning and can work and can assess this. So we would also like you to share a link to your GitHub repo or others where you have hosted your code. This is just so we can check, okay, is the code working? What does it look like? And do some technical evaluation. As always, in Slack, at the time, you will find all the links necessary for this and all the information again. And you might be asking yourself, who are the people that will be evaluating your solution? And we're really happy that we are able to have different track juries with experts in the field of medtech, environment, and education who will be evaluating your pitch, the prototype, and also your slide decks. And this will all happen, as said before, on the afternoon of Sunday. And for the evaluation, we have the 3 criteria. As the topic of our Makeathon this time is AI for social good, and all our set challenges and individual challenges fit this topic, and the social impact aspect is a quarter of the whole evaluation. Then 35% of it are the business model, and then 40% are the technology behind it. And then, if you are able to be one of the winning teams in the track jury, you will advance to the final jury, where we again have 5 experts from all the fields that will judge your pitch in a Makeathon finals. This will be from 6 to 9. And here we have a little bit different evaluation criteria, but they're nearly the same. And then what could you win? Because likely when you're watching this, you are pumped up and say, yeah, I'm going to win. I'm going to be in the top 3. My solution is going to change the world. For the winning team, there will be a 2,000 euro cash prize, the second a 1,000, and for the third a 500 euro cash prize. Additionally, for some teams, there will be also goodie bags that are sponsored by Infineon and AI4People. And additionally, we also have the venture labs here in Munich that are providing some coaching help for winners in the medtech tracks. Those are more individual prizes. And additionally, we have the meme challenge in Slack that's still going on. So here we have a special channel. You can just share a meme and then use the trophy emoji to vote on them. I saw a few people made the mistake. They use different ones. But at the end of the Makeathon, we will count the trophy emoji, and the one with the most will be the winner, will be celebrated and also win a cash prize. And the pub quiz is already over, and we had a great team that won this. Now, just to reiterate, we are very, very thankful for our challenge setters that we had. There are companies, government institutions, and also NGOs that really have a business case that can be solved using AI and bring real social good value to the world. And yeah, and they are also here to provide expertise and help during the Makeathon, or they already have provided it before the Makeathon, because you could reach out to them via Slack, ask questions, schedule a call. And also, most of them provided a data set to fulfill the challenge. And again, if you have problems with accessing the data sets or something else, contact us via Slack. We're always happy to help. And now we are already getting over to the most interesting part of the opening ceremony tonight. Today, from our premium sponsors, we have a few exciting talks lined up. And the first one today will be Judith Richwin from Siemens Healthineers. Judith, we're so happy to have you here today. And we really enjoyed the expert talk that Siemens Healthineers provided, and also hanging out with your team in Partners Launch yesterday. Yeah, excited to hear more from you.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and really, really a pleasure to be here with you. Now I'm just sharing my slides, I guess, taking you on my presentation side. So let's get here. Siemens Healthineers. You already heard I'm working there in Siemens Healthineers since many years, and this company is really now with kind of a volume we have and revenue we reached with 18 billion revenue. We are one of the largest medtech companies worldwide. And we have a lot of employees, highly skilled employees, which help us to do what we are doing. But what are we doing? We are one of the world market leader in most of the businesses we have. I will get a little bit deeper to introduce you what we really do. And also, if you just see us, we are a global company. We are in so many countries, about 70 countries where we have a direct presence. Also there in most of the markets, we are market leader. How do we get there? And it's of course something now getting directly into the heart of innovation. We have 35% of our revenue is coming out of innovative products, and which are really, really young. So we put here last 3 years, but you see that this cycle shortens up more and more. So it's based on innovations, it's based on the ideas of people, and it's always the people behind who make a company successful. Therefore, for us, innovation is one of the key topics. It's where we say we want, with our innovations, to help people to live healthier and longer. So there's a huge aim and purpose behind it, what we do. And you can see here we are having devices, and it's an installed base of more than 600,000 out there on a global level. This matters very much to me because you just saw it, I'm working in customer services from Siemens Healthineers, and here we take care that all devices are running in the way we need it, that all the patients can be served with the needs which are there. So it's about making our customers successful, which are most of them hospitals. And we collaborate, of course, very closely. And you see it here also. It's not only being a market leader, it's also having the leading hospitals as a partner which collaborate with us. This is very, very important. What helps us, and I already talked about innovation, we have 22,000 intellectual property rights, and also based on 14,000 granted patents. So this is also important for the fundament of a company, that you can be successful and push forward for your products, but being of help for the people. You see here now, getting a little bit deeper, where we are serving. It's really about clinical specialties like radiology. It's about oncology, nuclear medicine, neurology, surgery. It's serving all that clinical specialties, also with the clinical conditions where we have cancer, we have stroke, cardiovascular diseases, infectious diseases, and also for auto and trauma. And for that, all those conditions, we are getting into prevention and early detection. We're getting into the clear diagnosis, and very, very necessary. If you get a diagnosis, then you also need the therapy, but the monitoring is also important. And then the follow-up, how does it continue? And here you see we're on the one hand providing the devices that you can get through this process, but on the other hand, it's about the right software to support, and it's about the service, which also contributes a lot. And I like this picture very much because you see the fundament here is data, digitalization, and AI, especially where we are in the heart. So it's changing a lot. It's something where we see from the cycles that each and every day we get into new ideas, and with the partnerships we have, we can contribute to really get into breakthroughs which we want to pioneer in healthcare. And this is the aim and purpose we have. It's for everyone, everywhere. It's nothing, where you say, oh, it's exclusive just for the #1 market. It's something where we think on a global level. And as you have AI for social good, I think it's also something which our company Siemens Healthineers gave to them, to say we want to provide it to everybody to participate here, and it doesn't matter wherever you are. So with our use case, you also contribute to that. And of course, I need to touch now some topics about patient twinning, precision therapy, and also our digital data and AI. So patient twinning. This is something where you really get into a personalized diagnosis, and you also have the topic of to choose the right therapy, gaining here really the perspective of the patient and see what you can do. And then, of course, we are getting here with our imaging devices where we are market leader. We are getting into diagnostics, where you really need the accurate and timely test results, and that you also have the workflow excellence behind for lab and point of care settings. It's also about key clinical specialties where we are active. It's about point of care diagnostic tests for nearly every disease and also for nearly every healthcare setting. And now getting to the precision therapy. Yeah, here it's about intelligent and image-guided treatment for most of the prevalent diseases. And I have to mention Varian here with our cancer treatment ecosystem, as we are now 1 year together with Varian, having here a huge integration with a great company, bringing really 2 companies together now in Siemens Healthineers, and having now for all the patients really a streamlined, comprehensive and patient-centric care. And everybody who ever had the touch to need cancer care in that dimension, you know how important it is that it is patient-centric. Advanced therapies, also here on that way, we have empowering advanced therapy concepts, and also here have clinical specialties for key clinical specialties like cardiology, surgery, and interventional radiology. And you see it here, the digital data and AI. I already mentioned it. It's so important even for the future of whole healthcare globally. And we as Siemens Healthineers want to contribute there. And you see how the perspective of customer services with the right service, what for your need, really gains a lot of more importance. And you need AI to get the right push to bring it forward in the dimension that we can get to everyone everywhere. What we are also doing is having value partnerships where, you saw it with the leading hospitals, where we also see how can we get more in performance-oriented relationships and having a long-term perspective behind. But this also can help us that we collaborate and find new ways to do things. And so it's very much also about technology management, but also having the right partner for trying out new things, for getting into innovations. And this is something I think from the perspective where we will grow closer together, and also for the future, for the example you have from Siemens Healthineers. And at this point, a big, big thank you to all who decided to choose our company challenge and contribute there and is preparing. This is something where we also see in that field a lot digital platforms contributing, but in the end serving for good for our patients, making things available. So, and AI, I think, I don't know, I cannot ask you now and get your feedback, but if you have not had a look last Tuesday on our AI solutions for cardiovascular care from Midi and Eric, have a look upon there. You can get a lot of more insights, and I think it's really worth it just to get a glimpse what's going on. I have an example here. Yeah, of course, it just takes back some years, and starting in 1895. I like that example so much because it really shows what has happened with Wilhelm Röntgen when it started. So proud to have one picture to can get an insight of the body. And 100 years later, we were already very, very proud how much more pictures we can have, how much more clarity we can have with our PET and CT scanner. And if we now bring AI into it, and just getting to today, where you also can bring just to have a picture together with a clinical decision making, because you use AI and have curated pictures. So this is a dimension, if you think further what's possible there, where we really can help to stay healthier, and with that provide a life which is hopefully longer to everybody of us. So this is just an insight about Siemens Healthineers and the company you're working for. I'm so excited. I'm having the pleasure to be in the jury, so I'm so much waiting for Sunday and all the examples we see there and results you will present. So from my side, handing now back, but with a big, big excitement, and also a big thank you to all of you for contributing in being part.
Thank you so much. for the presentation again. And also a big thank you to you and Siemens Healthineers and all the other sponsors that we have, because not only are you allowing us to do what we are doing through the financial contributions, so we can provide the computational power and provide all the other tools for our participants to develop their solutions and also help them kickstart and maybe building a business out of it afterwards, but also without companies like yours that are also setting a challenge. And we would never get those business cases, this crucial data, where students, every participant here has the chance to really work on this exciting use case, whereas like as a private person, you have no chance to get on data like this. And also you don't get the help, expertise to see, okay, what can I do with it? What is a problem? So thanks again for that. And because of the expert talks you mentioned, yes, everyone watching, please, after the opening ceremony, you can still always go to our YouTube channel and check out the previous expert talks. I highly recommend it. And then you can learn more about the topics in medtech, education, or environment, where we had interesting speakers from. And now coming up next is David Dang. He is the manager of AI and data analytics at Deloitte. Hi, David, and we're so glad to have you.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Lovely.
And so before I let you get started, just a reminder for everyone, I know the making phase is starting today, but also at 7 p.m. we have a very interesting talk from Deloitte. And so please make sure to take the 1 hour time and join into this talk and get inspired and learn a lot. Now handing over to you, David.
Thanks a lot. So hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And I want to thank the organizers as well for their hard work to enable this event for all of us to talk about the topic that excites us all, which is AI. So my name is David Dang, and as I mentioned, I'm manager at Deloitte in the AI. So we at Deloitte, we are a multinational company providing services across the globe. At the moment, we have 345,000 employees worldwide, which includes more than 9,200 employees in Germany. We make impact that matters since 1845. Since then, in this fiscal year, we have a global turnover of $50.2 billion, which includes 1.55 billion turnover just in Germany alone. And we have offices worldwide across 150 countries. So innovation and technology is very important for us, and therefore we have several innovation hubs like the AI Studio, which I will talk more about it today, where we not only provide consulting services to our client, but also have dedicated software engineers to build tools to improve AI. So we also have strategic partners of other leading technology companies, such as NVIDIA, AWS, Google, and SAP, and Salesforce. Yes, we all know AI is on the march and enjoying great success, but there remain very legitimate obstacles, such as user acceptance and regulatory compliance. So the ease with which AI can be integrated into other technologies, sensors, cloud, or mobile, makes it incredibly powerful. However, if we do it correctly, then it serves a good purpose. However, it can be also very scary if AI is implemented sloppy and with a malicious intent. Therefore, acceptance, as much as any technical limitations, is crucial, and it will determine the success of AI. And that depends on the mixture of ethical application and technical quality, which we consider together under the concept here at Deloitte as trustworthy AI. So there are growing numbers of authorities, standard setters, and companies, each defining what trustworthy AI means for them, and each has its emphasis. However, they all generally agree on the following principles, which I would like to introduce you, as I think that could be also very helpful for this makeathon. So the framework consists of 6 pillars. We have fair and impartial, robust and reliable, preserves privacy, safe and secure, responsible and accountable, transparent and explainable. Let's start with responsible and accountable. So the application of AI must respect the fundamental rights of multiple stakeholders. So with AI, technology is often open source, and it puts or distributes the power of AI into the hands of many. And the machine itself does not judge what is good or what is bad. And also, the cloud allows AI to scale very rapidly. Could be bad, or could be also serves a good purpose as well. Ultimately, we have to, as engineers, we have to, or also as a company, we have to take the responsibility if the AI goes wrong. Privacy is also an important topic. So AI models must be able to function without requiring invasive use of personal data. We all know when we deploy machine learnings, we need a lot of data. Generally, we can say the more the better. However, sometimes the data that we want to use can be private or sensitive or protective. So maybe we can't use that kind of data. So a viable alternative would be can anonymize the data, we can use aggregated data, or we can simply generate or use synthetic data for our models. Fair and impartial. So AI must be trained on representative and balanced data, free from any intentional or unintentional bias. So that's probably one of the big challenges in deploying AI models. So we want not to have an AI model that only serves one purpose, but we want to maximize the power of generalization. So when we build a model, which are usually classification models, we want them to not be biased into one or another direction. Therefore, it will be useful to be able to detect biases in a trained model to help to find other solutions to compensate for that. Transparent and explainability. So the predictions and the decision of an AI must be interpretable, at least to a basic degree. So AI is very powerful, but it comes with a cost, and one of the cost factors is explainability. So especially nonlinear AI models, they're typically more accurate, but very opaque. And we don't, often we have like a black box approach, and that makes it difficult to explain how this model came to that conclusion. And therefore, we want to be able to explore a model and to make it transparent. Robust and reliable. AI should consistently yield useful results, and it should be robust against noise. In an ideal world, we have a very clean data set, no noise, no missing values. However, that's not the case. When you deal with real world and data, you have a lot of noise, and you have also targeted attacks. So an ideal model should also be able to handle this and giving right predictions under these difficult circumstances. Safe, and the last point is safe and secure. So the AI model should not cause any harm or be vulnerable to malicious manipulation. So data poisoning is one of the keywords. So we want to have a model that is safe and secure and can and is not easy to be manipulated. And you can think of autonomous driving, for example. It would have dramatic consequences if it goes wrong. So how can we ensure trustworthiness of our AI models? So we have, as I mentioned before, one of our innovation hub is the AI Studio, and we use here a tool-based approach. So we not only consult, but we also have dedicated software engineers to build the tools, different tools, in order to ensure the trustworthiness of an AI, which I just explained before. And the way how we do this is we use the advantage that we act globally, and we can concentrate the know-how of 10 different member firms across the world. And we develop, and for each, for example, we have a tool for bias detection. We have a tool to explain the AI or make it transparent. We have a tool to see how robust our models are. We have a tool to check the labels that we use when training convolutional neural networks. And we have also another tool that can be used to detect anomalies. We delivered 9 business case-oriented assets within 2 years, and 6 of them are already the second version. And here I would like to refer to a talk later this afternoon by Jonas Körner, who will share with you some insights on some of these tools, more from a technical point of view. So if I caught your interest in working with us, we have several opportunities for you to join us. We offer internships. You have also the opportunity to write your dissertation with us. And we have 25% of our newcomers are former interns and working students, and we aim to keep them, keep talented people here at Deloitte as well. So that's it from my side. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I'm very excited to see the outcome of this Makeathon and wish you all the best for your challenges. Here are also my email address and a link. Please feel to drop me a message and have a chat if you want to know more about trustworthy AI in general, or about Deloitte. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, David. So if you're interested in the topic of trustworthy AI, make sure to send David a message via email or LinkedIn. And also, as David mentioned at the end, if you want to learn more about the tools they're using, about the AI Studio, trustworthy AI, make sure to join our expert talk today with Jonas Körner at 7 p.m. And he will be talking about the topic of how Deloitte is improving the quality of AI for clients. So just again, 7 p.m. today, the last expert talk of the deep dive days. Make sure not to miss it. And now coming up next is Matt Watts, the CMO of NetApp. Matt is joining us today in the form of a pre-recorded video. So let's jump straight in.
Hi there, I'm Matt Watts, and I'm NetApp's Chief Technology Evangelist. I'm sure you're all really excited to get the day underway, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time, and I'm certainly not going to waste your time with a product pitch. So I was delighted when the team asked me if I could speak to you all today. And then I was kind of disappointed when they told me that the date for the event, I already had other commitments too. So I'm very sorry that I can't be with you in person today, but I simply couldn't get out of my other activities. But then the team told me I could record something for you. So here I am, and I'm really privileged to have the opportunity to spend this time with you all. I just want to spend the next little time telling you about why I think a group like you is so important to NetApp and to me personally. And I think there's a lot of different reasons. The biggest one that stands out for me: your generation has a different perspective on things. What's important to you and to your generation is often very different to the things that I think about. And I think some of the best examples of this, so that I can give you some context, come from our personal lives. So let me share something that's important to me personally as an example. So it's Glastonbury. Glastonbury is a very, very big music festival in the UK. Some of you, I'm sure, will have heard of it. And as a festival, it's evolved dramatically over the years. But if I look back over the last 4 or 5 years, They're not all, but some of the biggest additions to the festival have been things like the mobile phone charging tent. Now, frankly, I don't care if my mobile works at a festival, but judging by the fact that the queues for this are probably some of the longest queues at the festival, then it's obviously important for many of you. 5G. Glastonbury was the largest test rollout of the UK's 5G network. Again, it turns out having a hugely fast internet connection was also really important. Again, not so much for me. These are things that I just don't consider when I think about how I could make something better. If I was considering Glastonbury and the things I could do to enhance that festival, those are probably not things that are going to be on my mind. But these are probably all things that you're thinking of. And I think when you look at companies like NetApp, what we're always trying to do is identify and surf waves. And if you look back over the last 20 or 30 years, some of those waves have been, we started off as an infrastructure company, very, very physical, building systems, designing hardware. It was a very much kind of a hardware focused business. And then we saw virtualization, which fundamentally changed the landscape of IT. And now we're in the world of cloud, which is having a profound impact on the way that NetApp goes to market and on the way our customers look at their businesses. But we're always looking at those topics of what's next. And that's such a huge and wide variety. And it's topics like AI, the reason that you're here today, topics like sustainability. So how do people like myself, as a kind of a chief technology evangelist, stay abreast of some of these new and emerging trends and technologies? Well, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of meetings, there's a lot of discussions with analysts, but I'll tell you what, where I get the greatest benefit is from talking to and meeting people like you. Discussions with you give me context. They help me to understand what's important to you, what drives you, what motivates you, what excites you. And there's no amount of people in suits and ties that can give me that. So let me share a quote with you, which is something that's always in my mind. It's always in the back of my mind when I'm thinking about technology and trends and looking to the future. And this is from somebody that I'm sure many of you have never, ever heard of, Douglas Adams. He wrote a famous book called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but he also came out with a lot of really interesting quotes. And the one that he gave, which I think about all the time, he says, anything that's in the world when you're born is normal and ordinary and is just a natural part of the way that the world works. Think about that. Anybody born into the world today will never know a world before 5G, mobile phones, tablets, all of these things, even the projects you're working on like now, AI. Then anything that's invented between when you're 15 and 35 is new and exciting and revolutionary, and you can probably build a career out of it. But anything that comes along after you're 35 is against the natural order of things and should be completely rejected. And that's where your perspective comes in. As people get older, their ability to accept, take on technology, even recognize the importance of different pieces of technology to different industries and different generations requires a new level of context, which is what you provide. And one of those, an example, which is something that it's a rat hole I went down at the beginning of the lockdown period, was sustainability. I became very interested in sustainability. And it turns out that not in all cases, but in many cases, sustainability is more important to your generation than it is maybe to my generation. Say not all cases. So what does it mean in the context of IT? And I wonder how many of you have even thought about this. In 2010, we created 1.2 zettabytes of data globally. In 2018, that grew to 33 zettabytes of data. By 2025, we keep going the way that we are, we will create 175 zettabytes of data. Data has mass. It has to be stored somewhere. It creates a sustainability problem. Right now, the world's data centers consume about 2% of the global electricity. By 2030, we believe that will rise to 8%, possibly higher. 8% or more of the world's electricity will be feeding data centers. In terms of data, only 32% of the data that we create is ever used. More than 2/3 of the data we create is a giant data landfill that we do nothing with. When you think about that in context of AI and the volumes of data we need to feed into AI, let's find intelligence from that data. Let's use that 68% of data. Let's mine it. Let's see if there's actionable intelligence that we can generate from it. And if it really has no value, then let's make better decisions about what we do with it going forward. And storage is responsible for between 10 and 15% of data center energy consumption. So you can start to get a sense of the global impact that these quantities of data have. But if we look forward a little bit further, by 2030, if we continue to grow at this rate, then we are likely to exceed a yottabyte of data, which is 1,000 zettabytes, which is 1 trillion terabytes, which is the equivalent of probably 200 mobile phones for every single person that lives on the planet today. That's the volumes we're talking about. And with massive volumes of data comes an opportunity for massive volumes of intelligence. But let's work out how we use it and find something to do with it, or let's make a better decision about how we sustainably deal with this data going forward. If we keep growing the way that we are, we may see environmental taxes on energy consumption, and storage could grow to 38% of total data center power requirements. And if none of that hits home to you, if maybe this wasn't even something that you considered before, and maybe you're wondering about, just how big is this challenge of sustainability in IT? Well, here's this quote for you. It's costing us the equivalent of maintaining the airline industry for data we don't even use. That's that 68% of data we create today. The storage that is powering that consumes more electricity, creating more emissions than the entire airline industry. NetApp is playing a really important role in this future. As a cloud-led data-centric software company, we have evolved significantly over the 30 years that we've been in business, and we are working on some really exciting technologies. So if you'd like to chat about any of this, you can find me on LinkedIn, find me on Twitter. My email address is watts@netapp.com. Feel free to reach out if you just want to have a chat, or maybe I can give some advice to you. But maybe even more importantly, because there's some advice that you can give to me. And if you do, it would be a pleasure to listen to you. Thank you ever so much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I look forward to maybe hearing from some of you in the near future.
Thanks so much for NetApp and Matt Watts from NetApp for this talk, and also shedding a light on a problem that we might not have thought about before. I myself was not aware that it was such a huge problem for sustainability. And also, I think Matt Watts pumped you up now, and you see why do you have the skills? Why are you the person that could bring AI into the future, develop great solutions? So based on this, now all I can say is go, have all the fun, start making your solutions, start working on the challenges, start asking your challenge setters if something is unclear. But before you really get to start making and turn off the stream, just 1 more minute. The making phase is until the 24th, Sunday at 11 a.m. There's the submission deadline, afterwards the track juries, and then the finals. And if you enjoy the Makeathon, the making phase, the deep dive days before, interacting with the TUM.ai team or our partners and sponsors, then maybe check out our TUM.ai website and apply. You have time until the 7th of May, so the 7th next month, to apply and become a part of TUM.ai and maybe organize the Makeathon or shape something else and get to know like-minded individuals. But now, really, this is the end of the opening stream today. Thanks again for all the premium sponsors that are supporting us, and also the challenge setters that are providing you with fantastic challenges. And now, once again, and for real, go, and have all the fun making. We're so excited to see the solutions you're coming up with. Have a great weekend and a great making phase.